we are with the schedules. Now, when you look at the schedule, just so you know, it's coming out in an hour. We know who your opponents are. We know who your home opponents and your road opponents are. We just don't know the order. And the toughest schedule, based on strength of schedule, this is last year, Rams, Cardinals, again, same division, playing well. You would think that the champs, they won a division, they play in a good division, and then you go all the way down from there. These are the teams that are in good divisions. I mean, you look at the AFC West. That's the SEC of right now of the NFL. And they're all going to play each other. So a lot of those teams on there as well. Now, the easiest strength of schedule. Now, you could say, well, this doesn't mean anything. It means something. I'd rather be on this list than the other list, wouldn't you? I mean, I'd rather play the easier schedule. I mean, it's not a guarantee. But overall, you would think that you want to be on this list right here. And look at the top 4 teams. All putrid NFC East teams. Your older brother had a league where that was this was the marquee division. And now, not. Let's welcome in our quarterback, Danny Kanell. He played in the NFC East when it was the NFC East and led the Giants to a division title as part of his NFL career. All right, so I just showed the hardest schedules and easiest schedules by percentage. How much does that matter? I mean, some people just throw it out completely. I won't throw it out completely. I mean, I'm not going to base every pick on it, but doesn't it tell you something?
Yeah, for sure, EK. And I think this is by design. The NFL wants to try to make it tougher. So there's parity on the teams like the Rams. You don't want just teams waltzing through and creating dynasties with ease. And it's another reason why I typically fade the Super Bowl champions and even the Super Bowl losers most of the time. And it's why you don't have very many teams repeat.
And let me back you up there. I mean, this becomes kind of startling, right? Since the Super Bowl, since the Bills went to 4 straight, that's 29 years. One team that lost the Super Bowl went back the next year. One.
Yeah.
And in the last 50 years, that same team is the only team to lose the Super Bowl and then win it the next year. The Super Bowl loser never does anything the next year. And it's been 20 years since we've had a repeat champion. So I'm with you.
Yep.
I'm always fading the teams that were in the Super Bowl the year before, and it's worked out to be a good strategy. Sorry.
Now, what's I think interesting and enticing is it also designed to try to help teams at the bottom of the rung, like we're seeing in the NFC East, unfortunately, give them a little chance to get some legs under them, right? To build up some confidence, hopefully get a franchise turn in the right direction. And we're seeing that with this division with the easiest schedule there, percentage-wise. But to me, it still is very tough. And I think you see some inflated numbers, and we're going to do some win totals throughout the next couple hours. And that's a direct reason why, because the schedule is so easy. But I do think this is part of the NFL's genius, why it's the most popular brand and the most popular sport in our country right now. And you talked about it right off the top. If you're a Giants fan, Washington fan, Eagles, Cowboys, you're starting to look at that schedule and saying, yeah, you start writing in those W's. And you're like, why not us? And there is something to it. I've been on teams that have been bad, and all of a sudden you start going rolling. That 97 Giants team you always love to reference with me on here, we started to feel confident. We started to gain something behind us, some momentum. And in large part, that was probably because the schedule was easy after coming off a couple 4, 12, and 5, and 11 years and struggling somewhat. We get a schedule that's favorable, and we played into it, and it worked. So it's part of the genius of the NFL. I think the scheduling, and it's by design, and I think it's an incredible product because of it.
And as we say, if you're looking at the difficulty of schedule and easy of schedule based on percentage, it tells you something, but you can't take it as gospel. Rams, toughest schedule by percentage. Part of that is, Seattle. They no longer have Russ. Part of that is San Francisco. Well, I don't know who's playing quarterback there. It may not be Jimmy Garoppolo. They may be turned over to a new guy. Part of that's Arizona, who I think was a little overrated last year and faded down the stretch and didn't do much for you. So maybe that's not quite the difficult schedule that we've talked about. Plus, they get the opening night. And Sean McVay, 5-0 in his career opening night. Super Bowl champs, 19-3 opening night. A little something there. And the NFC gets extra home game this year. So they play more home games than the AFC does. So when you see them at 10.5, is this maybe the one year to sort of, look at each other and go, let's go the other way? You know what I mean? Let's go with over the Rams.
I'm sticking with my philosophy as it's always been. I'll take the under. It's just human nature. When you go out for a really nice dinner and you stuff your face, the next night you're going to be quite as hungry. You're going to take it easy a little bit. You might still have a little bit extra in your belly. You just don't go back to the dinner. You don't go back there again. I think it's really tough to back up what you just did. And there was so much momentum around the Rams last year. Think about it. Matthew Stafford, big trade, pressure around him.
Playing at home in the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
And you know.
Yeah.
And
all
you look,
of that.
Take me through as a player's perspective. I can just sort of shape you there a little bit. Like, I didn't get to play in the NFL. You did. You get a lot of attention when you play in the NFL in that city. When you win, you get even more attention. It's been an off season of every Ram not picking up a check, being patted on the back, told how wonderful they are. Is it as hard or is it as motivating to get up and work out in the gym all day when everybody's telling you how awesome you are and how well you're doing?
Incredibly hard. And again, I played on a team right after they lost the Super Bowl. I wasn't a part of the Atlanta Falcons when they lost the Super Bowl, but I went there the next year. So I was in that locker room. And what happens is an attitude of complacency and, oh, we'll be fine. We'll be fine. We'll get things back on track. And usually what happens is if you have that mentality, you get complacent, you lose a few games. Like you lose one game, you're like, it might be ugly. And you're like, we'll be fine. We were in the Super Bowl last year. We know what we're capable of. You lose 2 games in a row. Yeah, well, we'll be fine. We'll get there. We had a 2-game losing streak last year. We can do it again. And then all of a sudden you look up, you've lost 3 or 4 games in a row or 4 out of 5. And then the next thing you know, everyone else is out to get you. They're improving. You're kind of staying stagnant. And a lot of times you try to flip on that switch and it's too late. And it's such a cliche, but it is so true. Championships are won in the offseason with the preparation that goes in, both training, like getting your body in shape, your mind around the playbook, continuity among the players, training, going to travel different places to work out with the receivers, the skill positions. And that usually is out of a desire to do something special that you haven't accomplished yet. If you've already been there, you're getting appearances, late night show, filming commercials, going around the country, making some money. Now it's good for them, but you're usually not as hungry to get that next championship as you are with the first.
Do you want a sports network that delivers everything that matters about the game? The highlights, the picks, the instant analysis, no yelling, no fake debates, no politics. Hit the subscribe button and never miss a moment.